Hi, my name's Eric Huysman. I'm sorry if I'm shining a little bit brighter. I've got a little bit of Astros gold on me, and it was a great time at Minmay Park today, and a lot of people went out to visit, but unfortunately, Jose Altuve had his surgery today, and Kyle Tucker, a little bit of good news on that, and then also who was scratched from today's start. We'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Bierling's back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett is actually recording a different podcast with on the AL West preview. We'll probably go ahead and throw it up on our YouTube channel when we get a chance, but I think he's doing that from 8 to 10 tonight. So I'm not sure if he was going to be able to join the podcast, but on spur of the moment, sorry, I'm a little late today, but spur of the moment, Brett and I decided to go up to Minmay Park and go ahead and take pictures with what we thought was going to be the throne and the trophies. But by the time we got there, I had to wait for my kids to get out of school. But by the time we got out there, the trophies had somewhere else to be. But we still got some good pictures with the throne and everything. It was a cool experience. Somebody had already gotten me the jersey and the hat, so I was able to wear that in there. And people are looking at me like, cool, you already have it. But yeah, this is awesome. It's got the cool little World Series championship logo on there. And it's got the little the patch right here. But guys, I want to say thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and keep on subscribing to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The Killers concert is this weekend. I'm going to it. If you don't have tickets yet, I wonder if Game Time does, or if you're trying to get tickets opening day, just go check out Game Time. So there's a lot going on with the Houston Astros, and everybody was looking forward to Hunter Brown pitching in this game, but unfortunately today it wasn't in the cards for the Astros. We'll talk about that in a second. But the big news of the day is finally Jose Altuve went under the knife, and they went ahead and had the surgery, and it happened on Wednesday, and his repair his fractured right thumb, and he will not resume baseball activities for at least 2 months. So let me translate something. He's not going to roll out of bed after 2 months and be like, okay, let's take this cast off and let's go ahead and jump into the lineup as the leadoff hitter for the Houston Astros. That's about the time he's going to be able to start throwing the ball, maybe swinging the bat. I'm sure he's going to keep his legs in shape. I'm sure he's going to try to do as much as he can while he's trying to let it heal. But don't expect Jose Altuve to return in 2 months. It's going to be about maybe mid-June or something before we see Jose Altuve back in the Astros lineup. So let's kind of temper our expectations. They want him to be healthy for the entire season. So when they say 2 months before he resumes activities, that means before he can even throw the ball, swing a bat, anything like that. So we're talking about Michael Brantley not being able to start the season on time. So you're talking about Jose Altuve not being able to do it. So Dana Brown said some guys heal faster than other guys, and he seems to be one of those guys. But after a couple months, we'll make an assessment, and hopefully he's coming along well. If it looks like it's going to be about 2 months. So they're going to look at him after 2 months and kind of make that decision from there. So knowing the Astros, they're very conservative. They're not going to go out there and throw somebody out there when they're not ready to come back. So I think the Astros are going to do what they need to be done, and something that I don't think we've talked about in this podcast, and it doesn't make us feel better. As Astros fans, we're still pissed. We still want to face the Rockies and like hit a line drive right at Daniel Bard. But he did say to USA Today, I feel terrible about hitting Jose Altuve. He said he couldn't sleep that night and he felt really bad the next day. But no, Altuve is not going to be back in 2 weeks. If I said 2 weeks, I apologize. No, I meant 2 months. And that's when he starts baseball activities. Then you got to talk about the 4 weeks or so it's going to take for him to get in baseball shape, down to maybe Sugarland, Space Cowboys, get ready. So it's going to be a while, guys, before we see Jose Altuve in the lineup. But that's okay. We got David Hensley. We got Mauricio Dubon. We've got all the confidence in the world from our general manager in our depth options. And we'll talk about that in a second because he's really excited about that. But you do have some options out there. And Dana Brown said we are going to be in touch with other clubs and talking to other teams. But we're going to give our eternal guys an opportunity to show us what they can do. We really feel like we have some real options here. Dubon has been a major league player, so they're going to give him a chance to do it. And then David Hensley is a guy that the Astros have been really high on, and this is his chance to shine. Whether it's a straight platoon, you see matchup options, or one of the guys takes control. Rylan Brandon, I know that he played, he led off today and played second base. I don't know if he's going to make the opening day lineup. He is on the 40-man roster, so that would be something that would be interesting. But overall, I think that this is going to be definitely a interesting decision. So whether the Astros just stick with the rookies or just go ahead and go for it. So we'll have to see, but we have to trust that everything's going to be okay. The sky's not falling. Kyle Tucker, his ankle is okay. And he just wanted to be on the safe side, and Team USA didn't play him for those reasons. And he should be reporting to camp on Thursday. And Dana Brown said that everything's okay. He's fine. It's just a mild ankle sprain, nothing to worry about. And he's going to be reporting back to Astros camp on Thursday. Ryan Presley, I believe, is going to be reporting as well. So a minor ankle sprain, nothing to be concerned about. I know everybody thinks the sky's falling because you have all these players going down. We'll talk about Hunter Brown in a second. But you're going to have injuries. No team is unscathed. The 2022 Houston Astros were one of the few teams that went through a season where you didn't have a lot of injured players. And so it's unfortunate in this situation. And if anybody is wondering, I did go ahead and get Alvarez jersey. So I got the golden Alvarez jersey because I know he's going to go out there and hopefully, hopefully, whatever the words were by Dana Brown yesterday and Dusty Brown, he will be returning. So, so good news on Kyle Tucker. He should be coming back pretty soon, but we'll have to talk about what's going on with Hunter Brown in a second. Dana Brown, Hunter Brown, why do they have to have the same last name? It's kind of confusing. But you know what is not confusing? If you need tickets to opening day, well, maybe not opening day. I don't know if you're going to get a cheap ticket out there. But if you're stressed out about finding the right ticket, why don't you download the Game Time app? I just did. And I was just looking through the Game Time app, and it's actually pretty awesome. It has all the different options. You can look at music. It's not just about the sports. It's not just about the Rockets, not just about the Texans. But the cool thing is that you get some super cheap prices, and you can even get prices for like closer to game time, so to speak, for cheaper. So definitely something that you can do with killer deals on last minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and get super hyped for all the fun you're having. I know I'm going to the Killers concert this Saturday. I'm super excited about that. And they always have some flash deals, last minute tickets, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And you can look at what it looks like from your seat view. Some sites you can't even do that. So it's just really awesome to see this. And Game Time, you don't have to plan months in advance and be like, okay, I want to make sure I go to this game because they're giving away this bobblehead. You can do it at the last minute, and people will be putting tickets on there because they want to get rid of the tickets. And the closer you wait to Game Time, the better the deal you'll get. So Game Time is great. And if you find tickets with the same section for a row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute ticket deals, lowest price, guaranteed. So with that, on that note, opening day is around the corner. I know Brett and I are going to a couple of Sugarland almost said Skeeters, but Space Cowboys. I caught myself, but definitely I'm excited about all the baseball that's going to happen next week. We're going to watch some exhibition games, and then we're going to watch the home opener on Thursday. It's exciting. Baseball is coming back. I know everybody's worried about Jose Altuve, and you can't replace what Jose Altuve means to your team. I mean, you can't ask Mauricio Dubon, who barely, I think he hit his weight last year, but you can't expect him to all of a sudden become Jose Altuve. David Hensley, we don't know what he's going to do. And before we talk about what's going on with Hunter Brown, I do want to talk a little bit about what Dana Brown had to say about his depth options. And he said, I don't feel the depth is as good as it was last year. But that said, I think it's good enough. It's still good enough. We have a good starting rotation. We feel good. The team is good. I'm not panicked. So he's not going to go out and make a Jake Odorizzi type move where he gets somebody where they instantly regret it. And I know Jake Odorizzi turned out to be a decent pitcher at times, or go out and make a Carlos Gomez type deal. And I'm not going to even mention the other guy that we got in that trade because we don't mention his name on this podcast anymore. But definitely it's something that I don't think Dana Brown is going to panic. If a guy who could play second base or maybe a super utility guy comes available, maybe he'll make a trade. But I don't think they're going to really panic and go do that. They're just going to weather the storm. And Dusty Baker said, hopefully we have enough backups to see us through the tough times. That's why you always want a capable and quality bench to get you through these times. Hopefully they don't linger. Hopefully we get them out of the way now and healthy the rest of the year. So my question to you, audience, and people listening to this the next day, are the Astros suffering now because they did not have a true GM throughout the whole offseason? I mean, you can't predict Jose Altuve getting his finger broken during the World Baseball Classic. You can't predict all the injuries the Astros are dealing with right now. I mean, granted, some of these are minor, some of these are not that big, but should the Astros have brought Aledmys Diaz back? Aledmys Diaz would have looked great on the Astros roster right now. I'm sure Hensley's going to be great. I'm sure there's some other, like even today, you see Dusty Baker saying that, I can't think of his name right now, that Corey Julks has 10 RBIs in 15 games this spring. And he says he could come and play sometime this year. Hopefully he's opened some eyes this spring. And so there's some guys out there. Pedro Leon, he struck out twice in the game today, but he's got a bright future for Houston Astros. But did the Astros do enough this offseason to strengthen their team? They lost Justin Verlander. They lost some of their, like somebody just, Colleen said, bring Yuli back. Well, Yuli's on a different team now, but Yuli, that would be a stretch having him play second base, but he could. But I think once they, like Jay Robert brings it up, like if they hadn't signed Abreu, yes, we probably would have seen Yuli come back. But I think Abreu at this time is better for the Astros than Yuli is. And Yuli signed for a minor league deal. It wasn't like teams were like throwing them money, throwing the Astros gold at Yuli Gurriel to come be their first baseman. So I think the Astros did what they needed to do, but they also are counting on some rookies in this case. And I always say, okay, I know Jeremy Pena is kind of the exception, but you don't go into a season counting on a rookie. And that's what the Astros are going to have to do, because it looks like, as the roster is constructed right now, you're probably going to have to rely a lot on David Hensley and Justin Dearden. Justin Dearden is going to be a big part of this Astros team this year. You've heard that here from Eric at the Locked On Astros podcast. I think that he is going to make the opening day roster, and I think that he may be playing a lot more than we think, especially if Alvarez is not ready to go by opening day. So Dusty Baker said that he has that quiet confidence. He can play all three outfield positions. He can run. He can throw. There's not much he can't do on the baseball field. He's been impressive from day one. So that's pretty high praise from the manager. I mean, we saw him with another double today. He's just doing everything he needs to do to make this team. And so a lot of people are saying, well, the 40-man roster is full. How do you get Dearden on the 40-man roster? You're not going to like this. Close your ears. Jose Altuve to the 60-day IL. I said it. I mean, if he's going to be gone for 2 months, you might as well just put him on the 60-day IL. That's a way to open up a spot on the 40-man roster. So he's not going to come back anytime before then anyway. So that's a temporary way to do it. And then you're also going to have to put Michael Brantley on IL, but that's he doesn't go off the 40-man roster unless you do that. So you're going to have to rely a lot on a lot of the backups in this situation. And the Astros MLB Pipeline just came out with the top farm systems in baseball. And the Astros are, you ready for this? They're not last anymore. Yeah. They are 27th. Okay. So we're moving on up. Yeah. We're moving on up. So that's great. So no, Joseph says, I thought Brantley was ready. No, Brantley is going to be probably not ready to go. He hasn't even really played in a game yet. Alvarez, by the way, if you are listening to this on Thursday, March 23rd, welcome to Yordan Alvarez finally plays in a game day. Yes, I'm not supposed to wear this to work tomorrow, but I'm probably going to wear this to work tomorrow because I'm so excited to see Alvarez playing baseball again. Is he going to be ready for opening day? Who knows at this point? I think we all hope he's ready. He should be ready, whatever the words of the day are normally on the Locked On Astros podcast. But I think that we should see something. So unfortunately, in a second, we're going to talk about the word of the day from today. Oh, the word of the day should be gold, I think. Let's just go with a positive word for the day. The word of the day should be gold because everything was gold in there, even though they didn't have the trophies there when I got there. But everybody who got the pictures with the golden trophies, that was awesome. And so it's just awesome to see that. So is Brantley going to go on the 10-day IL? Yes, he's probably going to only go on the 10-day IL because if you shut down, there's actually nothing wrong with Brantley. What's going on is he's coming back from the shoulder surgery. And he has not had time to really get into any games, get into baseball shape, because just like Altuve, after he's allowed to start playing baseball again, you can't just roll out of bed like Moises Alou and just start hitting baseballs. You're going to have to basically just get your body back in shape, get used to swinging bat again. And so same thing with Brantley. He has not played in a game yet, and he's not even close to playing that. He missed some time with some personal issues, and I'm not going to say anything about that. That's his business. He also just got off to a late start, but we knew what we were getting in when we signed him. We knew that it was not a guaranteed. And I think that's why the Astros were able to sign him for what they did. And so I think that a lot of teams were kind of hesitant to that. So he had, like Jay said, it was extended absence for personal reasons to delay his start. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. And so it just a lot to consider there. So yeah, Michael Brantley's not going to be ready. The main concern right now is going to be Yordan Alvarez. Is he going to be ready? And then the next guy we're going to talk about in a second is everybody's favorite new pitcher, which is Hunter Brown. What happened to him today? Is he all right? Is he going to be fine for not opening day, but for the opening day roster? We'll talk about that in a second. But this show is brought to you by FanDuel. With March Madness going on, the U of H Cougars, I'm so proud of them as a Coug. I'm so excited to see them going, but just go ahead and download the FanDuel app right now. And because new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. So if you bet on the Cougs to win and they don't win, which I hope they win, you can get some money back. So just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from your money line to point scores and threes drained. How many home runs will Alvarez hit this year? How many games will Eric Huysman go to? Wait, I don't think people would be betting on that. But you can bet on whatever you want, and just how many, now that Kyle Tucker's ankle is hopefully okay, maybe how many steals will you have this year? Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss your chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, so let's get to the news that I've been kind of dreading and avoiding talking about. And I saw this at work today. I'm like, please say it. So I don't want to talk about this on the podcast tonight. Where's Brett? Why can't he talk about this with me on podcast tonight? But unfortunately, Hunter Brown was scratched from his Grapefruit League start today after experiencing lower back tightness during a workout on Tuesday afternoon. So it was a precautionary move. So that means we didn't have to, but we decided to do it to make sure nothing's wrong. And then also he's listed as day-to-day. So he's a little bit tight today. Tomorrow, he might be fine. But today, he was not good to pitch. So we'll see how he feels in a couple of days. So this is not anything to worry about. And Dana Brown said, we're going to have to get some more information. It's going to take a couple of days to really see how he's feeling. But Dana Brown didn't really say how long, if at all, Hunter Brown would be shut down from throwing. But they seemed optimistic that he would still be in opening day rotation. And at the last time he pitched, he did throw 66 pitches. So I wouldn't be too overly concerned. Hopefully, he should be there when the opening rotation, right? He should be wearing this on opening day, right? The golden. So I'm trying to get all the words a day in. So I'm not too worried about that. So hopefully everything's going to be okay. But I do want to talk about today's game a little bit. And you had Jairo Solis get the start today. And he pitched 2 innings, shutout baseball. He had 2 strikeouts. Then Maton pitched. He got 2 strikeouts. He's got a 0 ERA on spring. He's not hitting any lockers this spring training. That's a good thing. Brian Abreu pitched coming back from the World Baseball Classic. Then Austin Davis, it looks like they're trying to stretch him out a little bit, but he pitched 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 run. But overall, Ty Buttrey is kind of just hanging around, but he pitched 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, but his ERA has lowered a lot. Really early, it was pretty high, but now it's at 4.15. Okay, so that's kind of the pitching from today. And if you're looking at what happened in the hitting, you had Bannon leading off playing second base. That's your new leadoff hitter, right? He's batting 242 this spring training. He stranded 4 runners on base. That's your replacement for Jose Altuve. Just kidding. But Clay Hensley did play in this game. He got an RBI and a walk and struck out twice. He left 3 runners on base, but he's playing first base in this game. Corey Julks had the big hit of the game. He had a 3-run double, from what I understand. But so he's opening some eyes. He's batting 273. Then also you had some guy named Dearden, Justin Dearden. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he also had another double, and he's opening some eyes this camp with a walk. He's batting 364, and he's got an OPS of 1273. Granted, it's only 22 at bats, but still, for a kid battling for a roster spot, that's pretty darn good. So it's just overall, it's looking pretty good for him to make the opening day roster. As the more players kind of go down, you would say Dearden has a pretty good shot of making the roster. So I hate to say that, but I think Dearden is going to probably make a big chance to maybe supplant Jake Myers at some point on the roster, even once everybody comes back. So overall, if you're looking at the rest of the lineup, I think that Dubon went 2 for 3 today with a RBI and a run scored, but his batting average is 200 on spring training. So yay, that could be your platoon at second base. So, but overall, the Astros have been doing okay. They're 11-9 in spring training. Who cares? The Mets are 9-14 in spring training. They're supposed to be this juggernaut of a team. So I just think that the Astros are doing what they need to do to just get ready for the regular season, because at this point, that's what they need to do. And there was some more clarification about the rules, the rule changes, and then I'll get to some of the comments. But the biggest clarification is that the field timer now will delay the starting clock if a hitter is not only knocked down by a pitch, but if he takes an aggressive swing. Okay, you remember how Carlos Gomez used to knock himself down, or his helmet would go off? Well, if that happens during a game now, they'll go ahead and stop the clock, let him get set, then start the clock. And also, hitters will also determine when to start the clock if he uses one of his allotted timeouts, instead of the timer automatically resetting at 15 or 20 seconds, permitting the pitcher to hold the ball as long as he chooses. So basically, they're what baseball is doing is they're recognizing, okay, some of this stuff didn't jive in spring training. So how are we going to fix it? And also, pitchers will continue to get extra time to return to position if they back up home, first, or third base, with the timer not starting until he reaches the infield grass. I didn't know that was a thing. It would really, if they were backing up first base, they had to really run over there to pitcher's mound, and then the pitching clock had already started. That's crazy, man. If that was the case, I guess I didn't watch enough spring training baseball to know that. And the catcher also will receive additional time if an inning ends when he's on base, at bat, or in the on deck circle. But basically, we talked about the other stuff yesterday. Let me see, what else was it? Hitters who also base runners who are running on a pitch will be given time by umpires to get back on foul balls, that type of thing. So they're not doing any big changes to any of the rules. What they're doing is they're just doing some, okay, yeah, this ain't work. But so I think what you're going to see is maybe a quarter way through the season, you're going to see Manfred come out and say, you know what? We're going to go and make some changes. Too many games are being decided by the pitch clock. So we'll see. And yeah, somebody like Joe Blue says, all this to cut out 25 minutes. But hey, the millennials, all them young kids, they need that extra time to be on that TikTok or that Instagram or whatever. So, but as somebody who has to do a podcast after a West Coast game, I do appreciate the shorter games in Seattle and California. So I do appreciate some of those games. So anyway, let me see if there's any cool thing. Dorothy said we did better last year in spring training. Okay. Yeah. So, just kind of explain. I don't think I have a lot of time to go through all this stuff. Thanks for everybody making comments. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get everything, but definitely something to look at for next time. But looking at what's coming up, we got some of the final roster decisions. And dear Astros, as a fantasy baseball owner, please put Jose Altuve on the IL so I can move him down to my IL slot on my team. I have him on 2 teams, and I've got to replace him. So come on, help a brother out. Come on, seriously. So anyway, I think that's all I got for this this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. If you weren't at today's events, it was awesome. From what I heard, there's DJs, and I didn't get to see the trophies, but I saw all the pictures y'all took with trophies. If y'all want to send pictures to Locked On Astros, we'll retweet them for you. But it was just awesome to be there. Go check out Brett or me on Twitter, and you'll see the pictures we took. I even put my kids over there, and yes, my kid is that tall. If you want to go see pictures, go check out me at Eric Talk Astros. If you want to go see Brett's pictures, go check out H-Town Wheelhouse. And thank you to the people that recognized us. And thank you for listening. And thank you, everybody else, for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. And thank you, Guy. And we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be talking about some good news when Kyle Tucker reports. And we'll be talking about maybe some other news about the Houston Astros, the team we love and the team that's so golden that they made a throne for them. And we'll see you next time on the Locked On Astros podcast, and go Astros.